Hi everybody, welcome to the business BoardCast. I'm on my own today, so hopefully you're out there and you're watching live. If you're not watching live, keep watching on YouTube. So but welcome everybody. So today I actually took a poll for today's topic. I asked people on LinkedIn what they would like to hear talked about today, so the one selection was for today: how do you select your senior management team? So that's what I'll be talking about today. I already had some feedback that there was a bit of disappointment that the client life cycle wasn't being selected for today. So don't worry, 2 weeks time we will be doing client life cycle. Next week is going to be health and safety. But anyway, so you think, well, why do I want to talk about how to select your senior management team? Well, why would you want to talk about that? So if you are an owner manager business, you've started up a business from scratch, you will have started up where you were everything. You did the marketing, you did the production, you made the tea, you did the cleaning, you did absolutely everything when you first start. And sometimes it can be a bit hard to let go. Some owner managers do find it difficult to let go to certain things and to build a senior management team. So I'm going to go through today on why it's such a delight to have a good senior management team, but also the various steps and the reasons why you should do so. So hopefully it will encourage you, if you haven't already got your senior management team of your dreams, help you to develop one. So first of all, what I would suggest is when you're thinking about who do you want in your team, is to think about what attributes do you want to have from as a general thing of your team. What does it want? What does it want to feel like? So that I was thinking about what are the things that I've been using to select my team. I'm very lucky. I've got a lovely team now, which has gradually grown over the years. I obviously started the business on my own. I then, eventually I had my first right-hand lady. She was brilliant. And then gradually we built up our management team. And, we've got a very successful, diverse team now. So the attributes that I look in particular from my team are as follows. Number one, truthful. You need them to be able to tell you how it is. So I know I can rely upon, there's one of my team members who's been with me 10 years now. She will say it as it is. And all of my team members do as well, but I'm just particularly saying her because she's been here the longest in there. So because you need to have the dose of reality. It could go both ways. It can be, right, okay, either something isn't working, or it could be, actually, no, Nikki, it is really working. This is the right thing to do. Have faith in it. Keep going. So that's the number one thing. I need my team to be able to be open on their ideas and just be truthful. So that's number one. Number two is encouraging. You want your team to encourage each other, because the more you encourage, the better they'll be. So I like to have that sort of nurturing type vibe from everybody, that we're all trying to do well. We want all the departments to do well, but we're doing this as a team. So it is important to be team members and encouraging of each other. So that encouraging vibe is really, really important to me. The next one is positivity. So I like, and this actually is for the whole culture of the whole business. I think it's very important to be positive, see the positives out of things. Now, this, don't get me wrong, this does not mean that people can't have bad days or say things that aren't right, but the thing is about, it's the way you do it. So it's seeing that there is positivity. So for example, during the COVID crisis, everybody was very positive. We had a very clear vision, and we were, we always found solutions and alternatives so that to go forward. The next one I've put down is flexibility. Now, especially with a fast-growing team, and you might be adding in additional services, additional products, so you're changing all the time because you're going through fast growth. I think flexibility is really important, and that can be in different ways. It could be flexibility as in their roles and responsibilities change. It could be that they are responsible for more things, so it's roles and responsibility change, or it could be just flexibility as in they want to step up, and so what their role was equivalent 2 years ago, now it could be extremely really different. So for example, we took on somebody recently to really focus on business development. However, there became a hole in the business that we needed them help in more of a commercial area with our management accounts team, and absolutely has filled that hole brilliantly, and so has really shown the flexibility. And I'd say all my team are really good, and especially if I think for the SME space where you can't have absolute specialisms at everything, it is really good to have that flexibility that people will try different areas that are out of their comfort zone. So, as always, just to remind you of the structure of the business BoardCast, it's live on LinkedIn Live. So do ask questions as we go along. I'm delighted to hear them, and I really want to see what you want to know so that I can help you with as you're selecting your teams or deciding how you want to grow, etc. How you're doing this, because some of this isn't, sometimes it's quite long term. You have a vision for a team, but you don't have it tomorrow. It could be the vision of your team of what you need it to look like in a couple of years, and it takes time to build it to where you want to be. So please do ask questions. You just pop into the comments. I see that we've already got we've already got questions. Goodness me. I thought I was just popped into the comments and I thought it was just going to be hellos, but there's already questions. So I will try and answer the questions as I go through. I've got some questions that I was going to ask myself anyway, but I will try and obviously incorporate any of your questions as we go along as well. I want this to be as useful as possible. So Bethan's got a great question. How do you know it's the right time to develop a management team? Okay, so that's a great question, Bethan. So often it's during you be in the life cycle of your business. So I've probably been through 2 different life cycles of my management team. First one was just to have some other people to delegate to, and that I wouldn't be manager of everybody, because I always think that it's best not to have more than 5 or 6 direct reports. So as soon as you start having more and more people, it's really important to have that next layer so that you aren't having to look after everybody. You can concentrate on the things that you want to prioritize. So my first manager that I had was Jenny Denton. And she was here with me 5 years. Lovely lady. She's at Vosbrooks now, doing brilliant there. And it just meant that I was able to bounce ideas off of her. She was able to start training trainees as we started to have trainees, and also do more and more of the client direct relationship. So it wasn't all me. So I would say 2 things can prod it. One, either because you're needing to delegate and to just spread out and focus on the things that you want to do, and therefore it's good to have other people responsible for different areas. But secondly, also just sheer numbers. It's not a great idea to have huge amounts of people in your team as direct reports, because it's time and factor. You just don't have time to be a great manager if you've got too many direct reports, because you just can't give enough time to each person. So I hope that answers your questions. 2 things: it's how many people in your team and also what you want to delegate. Similar question in some ways. So question from Nigel. Hi, Nikki. I'd say first recruit could be in the owner's weakest area. Absolutely. Now, that could be slightly different to being who's in your management team. So my weakest area is filing. Not that I can't do it, I just don't want to do it. So that was my first recruit, was somebody to do my filing. But absolutely, as you grow and you need to have that management team, it's important in the management team that you have people across the team that cover all the areas. So for example, I don't do audit. I've never done audit. So it's really important for me to have a really great partner in audit. So I was very lucky that I came across Jackie. She had a advert out there and she applied, and I was able to start building my audit team on the basis of taking on Jackie. So yeah, it's absolutely what your weakest area is or what area you don't, and it could be either recruit or it could be for your management team. Absolutely. So I'm just going to do actually my next one that I was going to ask myself anyway, which is actually quite similar to one thing that guys come out with. So I'll just go through what I was going to say and then see how it matches. So I was going to sort of share with you how do you match personalities to your business culture. And in some ways, it's a slightly different angle because I was doing that to fit your culture, because it really doesn't work if especially now, I mean, we're 14 years in, so it's pretty grounded now. We know what our culture is at this point. If you're in your earlier days, your culture is still developing. So I find, I just know that there are going to be some people that will not fit in the culture. So for example, our culture overall it's a very flexible, open, family type culture and friendly culture. And so if for a manager, if you are just a completely procedures driven, you can't see the bigger picture, that's just not going to fit. May fit into the team in lower down, but it's not going to fit into the management team, because the management team is always looking at planning, and so it needs to look ahead. So looking at the question from Guy that he's put up, so we still need to get his picture. Luckily, we've got our lovely photographer coming into the office soon to have a beautiful picture of Guy there soon. How important are different personalities to building a successful team? So I'm sort of like, I think this particular question, it sort of crosses with the one that I've just said about, getting the personalities to fit the culture. But also I've got another question I was thinking of, was how important it's to have diversity in the team. And I personally think it is really important to have a mix of personalities, and but not just the personalities, a whole diversity, because the richer the management team is, from the personality and diversity, their background, it just makes it a much richer group of people and it will come out, hopefully will come out with better ideas and a really great direction. So having personalities, they do need to, it's not great to have completely clashing, just like any business, we've had times where there has been a complete clash of personalities, and it's just, unfortunately, it just doesn't work, but hopefully we do like to have people that do get on with everybody. So hopefully, we do like, I'd say personalities, we need people that are open-minded, that are flexible, so it's the things that are bringing out from the culture, bringing out into your personality in there. But it's great, you might have somebody that's really serious, and this fits well with you, Guy, because Guy's got a great fun personality. He's extremely knowledgeable, extremely clever, but he also brings, you know, a joke into the office. And, you know, that having that different light, a bit of lightness into the personality and a bit of fun into the team, it just lightens everything up, and it just makes it enjoyable. So, you know, having a good mix really works. What is the point of having 6 carbon copies of people? It's just pointless. You know, you want to have a nice mix, and I think we've managed to have a quite nice mix. I'll just go into that a bit more detail now. So for diversity, now I think it is important to have a diverse team in so many different ways. Firstly, gender is different. It's important to have a mix, you know, female perspective. I don't like to generalize, but it's just good to have, I just think it's important to have female, male, and other genders, etc., you know, as relevant. You know, whatever mix is great. We had too many women. I can say that we had too many, and it wasn't great in some ways, and we've got much more of a good balance now. We've got 2 senior managers, plus we've got managers in the lower level down, which really helps. And I think it's good to have that mix, because we're not a female only firm. Our clientele are completely diverse. You know, we've got, you know, and I think it needs to reflect that. And diversity, at the moment we've got a mix of nationalities throughout the business. So, you know, we're complete meritocracy, and but it's interesting to hear about from people that have got either knowledge or, you know, experience of working in other countries. It's really important because, you know, UK is great, but there are other places to do some things better. So having different people with different knowledge of different places, and also we do have clients across the world. We've got clients in every single continent. So really good to have that diversity. Also the diversity, you know, our backgrounds. You know, I know that KPMG recently, I think it's either KPMG or PwC, actually could have been both of them, that they were doing working out the percentages within their teams of who had a working class background, etc. And it was shockingly low. We've got a very good mix. We have got people that come from middle class background. I don't think we've actually got anyone from upper class backgrounds. I mean, we might do, but, you know, it's important to have a whole mix. But, you know, we've got plenty of working class, including myself. My parents are sort of on the cusp from, you know, in some ways would be classed as working class from some of their areas, but then also could be classed as middle class. It's, you know, it's how you define it. But you know, it's really important, and because you need, especially as accountants, it's important to understand your clients. So if you can't empathize and understand your clients' backgrounds by having worked with a whole mix of people, you're not going to do the best job for your client. And there are other diversities, but those are sort of the main top ones that obviously there's disability as well. You know, it's important to have opportunities for everybody. You know, it goes across the whole way. So we've got another question come in. Also, I think it's going to have the most questions ever. So Tori, this is Victoria. So otherwise known as Tori. What advice would you give to someone who aspires to be in senior management? Okay, that's an excellent question, Tori. Guessing, you know, you're asking for someone close to you. So I would say it's really important to get as much as experience as possible. So get involved in, you know, get involved in the business as much as possible. Whenever there is any works, that really helps. Because it gives you that extra ability to get to know a bit more of things across businesses. and I say volunteering for so many things. So, if there is an opportunity to train somebody, it could be, do some training, be, I would say it's people in senior management. This isn't 100%, but really senior managers should be able to present, for example. So if you have any opportunities to do any presentations, that's really good. So training courses or general presentations really help. And just to just try and find as many opportunities as you can. Take every training opportunity yourself as much as possible. So we put our aspiring managers through a management course. We had 3 people on it yesterday. So ask to be, once you've had a specific amount of time into your belt, get asked to be included in management training. Even if you're not managing it, it's good to go to those courses, get to an understanding of the different techniques and things. And it just gets much more. So it's training, get involved in as much different parts of the business as possible. And offer yourself for projects, presentations, and training. I think that's a good start. That would be. We're very, very lucky. We've got I would say we have got now quite a few people in the team. So going back to step back. Why would you want a good senior management team? Well, my perspective is, I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I like to work all the time, but realistically, at some point, you're going to be ill, or you want to have some time off, or you might even want to have a sabbatical or something. So by having a senior management team that can cover everything, it takes a lot of pressure away from you, because there's a lot of pressure being an MD, as you know, running your own business. So having that senior management team and knowing that you can rely upon them is really, really important. I did a blog the other day which got loads of comments and things on LinkedIn, and I was saying some points about why it's so great having a really good, diverse senior management team now. I had some issues at the beginning of last week, and my audit partner, she really stepped in and really helped me go through them and troubleshoot some things. Our head of statutory accounts, she is getting amazing at doing referrals, so she's bringing in some great business for us. Our tax director, he's thinking outside the box. He's thinking of different ways to build our tax team and our payroll team, and looking at recruitment and different ways to provide services. So just I won't go through the whole blog. Look at my blog. When did I do it? I did a week ago. It was good, and I think I basically referred to everybody in the team, in the senior management team. It's just it's so refreshing to be at that point where you've got a solid, reliable team, and then it gives you the confidence that you can go and attain the targets that you want. Also, the other thing is now I can see succession planning. I could say quite easily there's at least 3 or 4 people in our business that I could quite easily see becoming the MD at some point. Which is amazing, because not everybody wants to be an MD, to be honest, do they? But there's some people that clearly I can see have got the vision and everything to do that, and I'm very excited about that. So that's why it's really good, and that's why I think it's really important to show, because some people go, oh no, I can't, and they don't want to let go, but actually it's so enlightening and it's so exciting to be able to have a really strong team. Okay, so there's a few more questions coming in, so another question another answer to your question, Tori, from Guy. Very good question. Very good answer, to your question about building a network. Absolutely. See, I almost take it for granted now. But, I've been in the business now I've been postgraduate, 26, 27 years now. I actually posted my first journal 32 years ago. So, but building a network, so knowing a lot of people, whether it's for clients or for different services and things, it makes it so much easier, because I can just go, oh, when a client says, I want something, you just go, oh, yeah, well, you can go and talk to so-and-so, or, building the network so that you'll build it, you want to get more clients. Well, you don't have to go and cold call, because you can go and see people that you already know and they can refer you. So building a network, especially in a services business, is really good. Because some practices will expect you to be able to build your own portfolio and bring in your clients. That's not necessarily how we do it. We have a mix. So some of our senior managers do bring in clients, but because a lot of ours are, here for years and years and years, so it's a slightly different skill set to doing the account management. Okay, the next question was another guy question. So, to be a great manager, you need to have initiative. How do you spot that in a managerial candidate? Well, there's quite a few different ways you can spot that. Obviously, it's really important to listen when you're doing your interviews. So do listen and try and give your candidates space to talk and show their breadth as much as possible. But there's some key things that you can sort of pick out there. So you can ask them certain scenarios. So asking, so when they found it different, perhaps they had a difficult client situation, and by their answer of that, you can see whether they use their initiative to get through that situation. Or it could be, when they had more work than they could actually cope with, how did they do that? And again, showing your initiative. Sometimes it can be shown by their external skills. So for younger candidates, it might be looking at, by the fact that they've done work with the Duke of Edinburgh things, because they try to encourage showing initiative and different skill building. But it's what I would say is it's not just about what you do in work as well. It's showing the breadth. And I think that's, especially when you go up the levels, it's not just about being technically excellent. It is about those extra things. So do think about, what other things you can do. I mean, it's all a bit much when you're trying to train that. But once you are trained, if you, like one of our senior managers, she's also on various charity boards and things like that. So it just gives you, it's not just because initiative, but it's also organisation skills as well, I would say. But it's showing your problem solving. So when you have a problem, how do you manage to overcome it? Because to be honest, that is the biggest thing as an MD. That's what you're constantly doing. And that's also why it's so nice to have a senior management team, because you're not the one having to solve all the problems anymore. So, and also hopefully by developing the team, etc., you're reducing the amount of problems that there are anyway. So it should hopefully be positive things. So I hope that answers the question, Guy, on how to look for that in the candidates. Okay, goodness, this is flying by. This one I did think, oh, am I going to have enough to talk about for half an hour? But actually, I've still got more questions of myself that I thought and I haven't even answered yet. So I'll just try and sum up with a couple things. Just finally, I do think it's important to note your management team, it does need to evolve with the business. When you might have built up the team really quickly, after 3 years you might have a solid management team. That management team might not necessarily be the right management team in another couple more years' time. You do need to constantly assess, have you got the right mix? Is there different skills that you need in there? So it could be that you're really looking big growth, so you need to have a marketing partner or different things. a whole mix of different things you could have. But so don't be scared to change things, and be open with them. And also, if you've got a good management team, they will be flexible as well. So, what a lot of, especially sort of service firms like us, that a lot of them would have dual roles. So they'll have their technical role, but they'll have another hat on as well, because you might not be at the point that you're having, we might not have a head of HR or something. I mean, luckily we do, but there might be different ones that you need some people to take responsibility of. So don't be afraid to change the team or upskill them. So that if you the team that you need for £1 million business is probably going to be a little bit different to the one for £10 million business. Doesn't mean it's necessarily the different team, but they do need to have the skills available. So, don't be afraid to offer them extra training and coaching and guidance to make sure that they can deliver, because they will want to deliver for you. And so, great. So that's it, really. So I would just say, as the final thing, do invest in your senior management team, because it will be amazing to have a really solid one, as I can attest to. To invest in them, spend time with them, give them the opportunity to flourish on their own as well in their areas, to give them the opportunity to be successful. But any questions, as always, just very happy to take them offline. I'm on LinkedIn, or you can phone into the office if you want, go for our website and our office phone number. Very happy to have a virtual coffee with anybody, to have a chat about what you might be looking for. But anyway, have a lovely weekend, everyone. Don't forget, next week is Health and Safety with Owen from Peninsula. And cheerio. Thank you.